Hello, welcome to our 14th episode of my podcast. I'd like to introduce you to the audience and ask how you first got into airsoft.
Oh yeah. So I'm Airsoft Nick, and I first got into airsoft. Let's see, I bought probably like one of those Springer pistols from Walmart or something, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, and played around with it, but never really went anywhere with that. And then I think about 2018, I got into it again, and uh, actually bought a actual pistol to start out with, and me and a couple of buddies we we've been playing we play a lot of video games, and so we been watching videos online like Silo, people like that on YouTube. And so we were like, airsoft looks pretty fun, so we'll try that. And we bought, like I said, I bought that Lancer, and they bought a couple of cheap ones, and we just went out in their woods and kind of played around a little bit. I think they spent like 60 bucks on their guns, and they broke the first time. So then they were like, yeah, we'll get a little bit nice one. So they bought a Lancer, kind of like me. And then kind of went from there. We played a couple times, and then they kind of got out of it. And I kept all my stuff, and then back, I'd say about 2022, I got back into it again, and that's when I got back into it a little more hardcore and started going to fields and stuff like that.
Oh, excellent. So you're kind of off and on and off and on through the years.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Which I played paintball and stuff when I was younger too, when I was a teenager and stuff.
Do you happen to recall the year when you first started, the very first one you were playing with
Like paintball or airsoft or either one.
airsoft?
Airsoft. The first that pistol, the first time I bought it, that was probably around like 2009 or something like that.
2009.
But like I said, I never really played at a field, or we just kind of goofed off. But the 2018 was the first time I really bought like last when I bought that Lancer. So I would
Oh,
say that
excellent.
was the
That's
first time I really kind of started.
yeah, where it got really serious.
Yeah. Well, 2022 was real serious, but 2018 was several people with some M4s out there, and we was playing around.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm only curious because I first got into it myself 2003, if I remember correctly. And again,
Yeah,
similar story.
yeah,
Just, a bunch of kids fooling around in the backyard. And then I
yeah.
even had the opportunity to play in a townhouse in a unit
Oh,
when
okay.
the owner of the unit, he owned the entire complex.
Yeah.
So he invited me and a couple of friends to play inside one of the units that he was not renting. And he filled it up with one of those Halloween smokes
Yeah.
units. And so we couldn't see each other more than 2 or 3 feet away. But
Yeah.
that was fun, playing with those little pistol things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
for
so that
sure.
was back then, and then only stayed into it for a few years, got out of it in 2007,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then been out of it until 2024. So,
Okay. Yeah.
so when
Yeah.
I got
So,
into or back into it in 2024, that's when I got pretty serious pretty quick.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
That was me in 2022 was kind of where I got real serious real quick.
Yeah, and it's pretty fascinating because I'm sure you experienced this yourself, that where you are away from the hobby for a few years, but when you get back into it, you notice a lot of changes, you notice a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
upgrades and a lot of things that's out
Yeah.
there that you couldn't do previously before.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I certainly noticed that after like what 15, 17 years or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a big
And
difference for you.
it's big difference. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I mentioned this in other episodes, but it's like, back then, especially in 2003, that I don't recall full metals. I don't recall hip hops being a thing. They measured in how far the thing could fire, not like feet
Oh,
per
yeah.
second,
Yeah.
just the distance.
It's just distance
So
traveled. Yeah.
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 So it's kind of interesting how all that
Yeah.
changed and
If you could
having to
get
get a
an accurate 20-footer, you was doing something back then.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, but it's what we had and still had fun. And now, if they can get full replicas of actual aircraft that drops BB bombs, that would be pretty
Yeah.
cool. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe that's the next stage of it.
Oh yeah, well they keep
Another,
improving, and everybody keeps making new stuff that's cool. So I mean, we'll be there one day, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. And it's kind of cool because when you first get into it, or let me rephrase this: when you get into it fully, hardcore, you start to explore different play styles, start to interact with a group, and
Oh
before
yeah,
you know it, you have
yeah,
friends, and
yeah.
it's pretty cool how you could start off with you're just kind of by yourself, but before you know it, you're part of the community, and now you're
Oh yeah,
starting up a YouTube channel, and now you're posting
yeah,
content. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I met a ton of people once I started going to actual fields and stuff, going to local fields, started meeting people, and then of course, like you said, you just make new friends. It was just me and two of my friends going, and then I've accumulated a lot of friends over it now. Even people out of state. People that I know now.
yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you took in a lot of road trips,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Nilsons.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I started really traveling a lot, like in January of last year, and I once I went to the biggest one, I couldn't quit. So I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah, definitely. And with those road trips, you go usually with a group.
Yeah, I try at least one other person, but there's been sometimes like if I go to Tennessee, uh, I'll usually have at least one person or a couple people with me. But let's see, I went up to North Carolina back in February of this year. That was about a 9-10 hour drive, something like that. That's the furthest one away I've went. But I just had one friend with me, one Sean, my friend Sean, that came with me, and he's the one that I first started playing airsoft with, like back in 2018, and then he's kind of got back into it with me again. It's about the same time, and he still plays with me some when he can.
Oh, excellent. And out of curiosity, what type of playing style do you like to play the most?
My favorite is playing sniper. That's what I
Right.
like. But I've also got some SMGs and like a pistol it's an AEP-01 that I've kind of fixed up pretty good, and I like using it. I'll use it as a primary sometimes if I'm at like a local field or something. But I like using SMGs too, just because I like full auto. But like none everywhere allows full auto, so I only use it pretty much if I can use full auto. I've got like I did have an M4, but I built it and then sold it I sold it to Sean actually, but I built it and HPA'd it and all that stuff and sold it. But I kept that SMG that's HPA'd, and I've got an extra long barrel that I'll stick on it if I go somewhere that doesn't allow full auto and I can't really snipe at. So it's like maybe like if I go to a mall event, they don't allow snipers indoors. So I'll just stick the long barrel on that SMG and just run it on semi-auto because some of them indoor stuff they don't allow full auto. But
Yeah, and I can understand why, because I mean that's a
oh
little bit
yeah,
more closer quarters.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I was looking at the Mere Tactical event. They've got one coming up in July, another mall event. I was looking at it, and I think they're gonna. I think from what I can tell on the rules, it looks like they'll allow full auto on it. So I may end up running my SMG down there.
Oh, nice, nice. And forgive me, there was a mill sim that they do in a mall. I forgot the name of it. Do you happen to recall one
Thunderdome,
of that
the one
might
that I
be
went to.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, out of curiosity with that one, I mean, what's the usual player turnout? How's the feel of it? I mean, how does the
They
typical
were
day go for in that event?
they were limited as far as ticket sales. Like they had a cap. I want to say it was maybe 200 or 250 or something like that for a team. Can't remember exactly, but I mean, I think they sold out. Like I bought my ticket the day before they sold out, or either the day of they sold out. I can't remember because it was on the fence about it. Because I was wanting to go, but I was trying to get somebody to go with me because I didn't want to drive 9-10 hours by myself up there,
So, yeah.
And finally, like I knew they were about to sell out, and I was like, I'm buying my ticket today. Like I know they're gonna sell out, so I'm buying it. And I talked my friend into finally buying one. But I would they did like a Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday, and it was probably the most fun event I've been to. I would say it's probably top three of the most fun I've had at an event. It's I mean, you get players of all kinds up there with it. I mean, there's people wearing camo in the mall, and then there's also people that's wearing skirts. Just there's all kinds of people. But it's really fun though. A lot of people you wear knee pads and they're running around just sliding everywhere because it's all just tile floor, so they'll just slide. Pretty fun though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I even have a few shorts of me doing that actually.
Oh yeah,
At
yeah, sliding
our
around.
local field, yeah, our
Yeah.
local field, we have a green turf.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
gives us the ability to run and then slide right against the corner and
yeah,
pop a few shots.
yeah,
So it's pretty cool to do that. Of course, you can't
yeah.
do that on dirt, but
No, yeah. I see that all the fields that most of the stuff I play at, it's all like just dirt and out. There ain't no turf or tile or nothing like that.
yeah. And I have in some of the other fields I've been looking at in other states, I'm not really seeing turf as much. I mean,
No,
that seems to be more rare,
I've
I've noticed.
yeah, I've watched your videos, and there's definitely nothing like that around here. It's I mean, really, the field that I was playing at a lot locally, it was called Mount Doom, and it closed down like the beginning of last year. But it was huge. It was all wooded pretty much. It was they got like over 100 acres there. We wouldn't necessarily use all of it every time we played. We'd just kind of pick an area. We'd go kind of stay in the area and play. But and then like you've got Doomsday, which is that's my local field, and got kind of a bug
Doomsday.
going on here.
Is that the
Uh,
one where there's like a helicopter
yeah,
um, that's kind
yeah,
of
they
gutted
just
out?
yeah they just put that out there. Yep,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
like
know which
maybe a
one you're
couple
referring
months ago
to.
or something. They put that out there.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the fields I've been looking at and potentially visiting.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
that's so if that's the case, if I do visit there, I'll definitely give you a holler.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Are you ever in the Huntsville area? Like you come from business or anywhere in that area?
Actually, ironically, I do. I'm into
Okay,
aerospace, or what I do
okay.
for work
So
is aerospace, and there's a big Parson hub there in
yeah,
Huntsville.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we do have an office there, and once things settle down on my side, I am confident I'm probably going to go back there again. I just don't know
Yeah,
when. So I
yeah, yeah.
suspect probably at the end of this year, rough estimate.
Well, that'd
But
be a good thing to if you're coming that way anyway. It'd be great to go and check it out because
oh yeah,
it's in Athens, so it wouldn't be that far from
no, no,
Huntsville.
not,
You're looking
not
at
that
a
far at all.
20 minute drive or something from Huntsville. So
Yeah, if that, because my
yeah,
hotel is not directly in Huntsville. It's like a little bit
okay,
out of it.
yeah,
So
I
I
got you.
was looking at it. I think, like you said, it was about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was fairly close. So I was
yeah,
thinking, well, man, if only I knew that earlier.
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
was there a few months ago.
yeah.
And, well, I shouldn't say a few months ago. It was like, when was it? I could be off on the timing. So if somebody's watching and getting upset I said the wrong month, I apologize. But but I think it was like in September of October, I think last year is the last
Okay,
time I
yeah,
was there.
yeah,
Yeah. So but if I would have known then, I would have been out there. So but it's okay. I mean,
yeah,
at least I'm aware now. And then
yeah.
next time I go out there, I'll definitely visit. I'll pin or DM you, and I think Rooster's the other one.
Rooster, yeah.
And yeah, and I think and I forgot his name. I've been watching his videos as well. Oh my gosh,
Corn dog,
it's that guy. Yeah,
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 yeah. He's pretty good too. I've been watching a lot of his content.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah,
it's I'm hoping if he's watching, I'm
yeah.
hoping to invite him on here as well in the near
Oh,
future.
I'm sure he'd want to come on. Yeah, he plays a lot. He plays a lot more than me. He plays pretty much every weekend, just about.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of figured because he posts quite often. So
Oh yeah,
in order for him to produce that amount of content, I imagine he would have been out there at least every week.
yeah, oh, yeah,
So
yeah. He
yeah,
does. He was going to Doomsday pretty much every week, and then I think he's got to where he started branching out a little bit, and he's going kind of like maybe driving a couple hours, to fields and stuff up in Tennessee, stuff like that. Because he lives like North Alabama anyway, so Tennessee's a couple hours drive or less, an hour, really about an hour for him.
yeah, which isn't that far. Well, I guess it just depends on who you ask, but to me, an
Yeah.
hour drive is not that far.
No,
But
an hour. I mean, Doomsday is an hour for me.
yeah, I mean that's just because that's like half the distance it takes me to get to the airport. I have to
Yeah.
drive
Oh yeah.
2 hours to get
Okay.
to Denver.
Yeah.
So, Denver Airport to be more precise. But yeah, I'm kind of used to that. So when someone says an hour or something like that, I was like, I could easily do that.
Not bad.
It's not a
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
The
So
uh the Mount Dune that I used to play at, it was like 20 minutes from me, so it was really close. There wasn't nothing for me to just pick up randomly and say, like at 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm gonna go play airsoft today, and I just take off down there and start playing. But if I'm driving all the way up to Doomsday, I kind of plan it out a little bit more, because I'm gonna be driving an hour there, driving an hour back. But
yeah, yeah. Certainly need to plan it accordingly, depending
oh
on
yeah,
distance.
yeah, for sure, yeah, especially wife and kids.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, which is kind of interesting because when I first got back into this hobby in 2024, I certainly had to coordinate, and
oh yeah,
that was kind of challenging. But
yeah,
and then my little one, she's only 4. She's like, I want to come. I'm gonna come. I'm like, well, you're too young. I don't think you
yeah,
can come.
yeah.
So
My youngest is 5, so yeah, that's kind of the same thing with him. He's too little. He's interested in it, but and I've let him like kind of shoot some of them in the yard, stuff like that. He hasn't been shot at or anything, but he's shooting at the tree in the yard. But he's interested in it. I feel like once he gets old enough, he's probably going to be pretty hardcore into it.
yeah, yeah. I'm me myself. I certainly want to get her exposed, but I'm trying to be very careful.
Yeah.
So, and in this particular case, she was given one of those cheap $1 Nerf guns. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
smaller, the
Yeah.
size of my hand. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
small, and you
Yeah.
can only fire one Nerf
Yeah.
projectile. So my friend gave her that, and I was like, well, that could be a beginner
Yeah. An
exposure,
entry
you
level.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been using that every now and then, and then so I'm trying to determine how long should I wait before I should go up to the next level.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah.
so as a parent, you kind of have to figure these things out because, especially when you're dealing with things that become a little bit more, let me phrase this, things that look more real, even though they're
Yeah.
not. You,
Yeah.
especially a kid that age, they're not going to know the difference.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to approach that cautiously.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. My son, he's got little Nerf guns too, like you're talking about. He likes playing with those. I guess that's his entry level to it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But I don't know, maybe in 15 years, she'll become the most dangerous BB sniper in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
But
So when you said you got back into it last year is kind of when you started playing hardcore.
yeah, that's correct. It's kind of a funny story how it happened. I always repeat this story. I've been trying to keep it short because I've repeated it so many times, and so
Yeah.
my audience, I'm sure they don't want to hear the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I'll try to keep it short. But basically, what happened is that years ago, I had one of those really fast electric scooters that can go up to 40 miles an hour.
Hmm.
And of course, those things are pretty fun,
Oh yeah.
and they can certainly get your adrenaline going, and especially in those speeds. But one day I was running on the scooter, and I forgot, and of course, it's just a flip of a memory, right? But with this scooter, it was imported from out of the country, so the
Hmm.
brakes in the between the front and the back tire are in reverse.
Oh
So because of that, I forgot that
yeah.
I pulled on that I'm supposed to be pulling on the other brake. I'm supposed to be pulling on the brake for
You
the
get
back tire,
going
not the
40
front.
mile an hour and pull the front brake.
And I immediately flipped instantly.
Yeah.
It only
Mm.
took a second.
Yeah.
And that I have to admit, it was pretty fun even when I did that. And of course,
Yeah.
I was wearing protection. I was wearing a helmet,
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
and jeans. Of course, jeans doesn't really, I mean, it's something, right?
It's
But
better than shorts. Yeah.
yeah, it's better than short. So I immediately flipped, rolled into the road. Luckily, there was no traffic. There was no cars in either direction, so it
Yeah.
wasn't if I was in danger. But when I rolled, it was like this, rolled. So when I got up, I thought, okay, I'm feeling myself. Yeah, okay, everything's in one piece. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And immediately went home, bragged to my wife about it, And she said, "Are you nuts? Why are you like saying you're enjoying that?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't get hurt, but it was fun. I mean, I flipped and I rolled and I didn't get hurt." So, of course, I think I spoke a little too soon because I think it was like a few days later I start receiving or I start noticing like a little bit of what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. A little bit of a hump or
Yeah.
swollenness or whatever. I'm trying to say, I apologize, but
Soreness.
it's
Yeah.
like it's
Like a little
swelling
bit.
up. The foot is swelling up a
Yeah, I
little
got
bit.
you. Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of that was going on. It wasn't much, but a little bit of it. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, it must have been what I just did the other day. I'll just wait a few days, it'll be fine. Well, this is what it was kind of interesting, is that after about a week, it would disappear, it would go down, and then another week or two, it'll come back. And it kept going on a cycle. So that was incredibly weird because it didn't inflame or didn't puff up too much. It would a little bit in the same spot, and then it would go right back down again. And, of course, as a guy, and maybe it's a guy thing, but you don't typically want to go to the doctor in every little thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
I because of that, I just didn't go to the doctor, but I
Yeah.
finally did after about almost a year, if I remember the timing right. I know it was a little bit of time. And then when I finally did, they X-rayed the foot. They confirmed that there was an injury on the bone, but they said that if I remember correctly, it was like a microfraction or something like that. And don't worry, it'll heal. And of
Yeah.
course, here I am thinking, well, it's already been a year, and they're telling me it's going to heal. Isn't this
Oh
supposed to be
yeah.
like 6 months?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That
so
it should have already healed by then. You feel like they would have done something a little more serious instead of just
I
sending you on
know,
your
but
way.
I told them the time when it happened, and
Yeah.
obviously, this is when I've been on the first doctor visit, right? So I would figure they know better, and I didn't question it, but I was thinking to myself, well, it's already been this long, but you're telling me it's going to heal. Oh, okay, well, that's what you're going to say. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I took his word on it, and I think it was like maybe a year-ish later. I mean, a little bit of time later. I don't remember the exact time frame. I apologize, but it was a while. And
Yeah.
by then, I was already moved to Colorado. And when I got to Colorado, it got worse. And the
Oh
timing of it
no.
was interesting because it was right after I moved to Colorado is when it got worse. And it
Yeah.
wasn't just cycling, it actually would puff up and it would puff up even more and it would actually start hurting.
Oh yeah.
And
And the
so,
foot pain is rough too. I mean, when that starts hurting, you got to get off your feet. You can't really do much.
yeah, yeah. So went back to the doctor. They did an x-ray. They at first was kind of like, well, it's not as serious. But then when I told them about the first x-ray, um, the first go around. Then they asked me, okay, we want to compare. Can we look at the first X-ray in your notes from your previous doc? So transferred it over to them. They reviewed it and they compared it, and then they said, actually, no, it's actually getting worse, and we kind of need to do surgery on this because if we don't, we fear in time you're going to lose the bone.
Oh no.
So they went from like it's okay, it's gonna heal till you're gonna lose it. It's just a
Oh
flip of a
no.
dime once you had something
Yeah.
to compare with, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how that turned out. So I was like, oh, all right. So they ended up having surgery on it. So long story short, they did surgery on it. Massive improvement. I haven't had any. Well, let me rephrase that. I haven't had the puffiness since.
That's good.
But and the pain went down drastically. But so they made me go through rehab and all this crap. Well, what's the time? 7:56. Okay. I said crap. Okay, I need to filter that out. Oh, I'm also going to filter this
Oh,
out too.
okay.
So anyway, sorry. All right, just to get back on track here. All right, so they had the surgery and put me through rehab, and then and of course, they want me to exercise, go outside, and stuff like that. I wasn't too motivated to do it. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So I just immediately kind of not did it until they wanted me to do it. So my rehab wasn't exactly perfect. So I was still having problems with the foot. Um, because their argument was that I need to flex it, I need to keep using it, so
Oh
therefore I don't
yeah.
remember the term they used, but they said if the foot just sits, especially with the tender and the muscle area, because in the foot there's not much there,
Yeah.
um, it could not heal properly. And I remember them saying that it could lock up or something like that. I don't know if that's the
Oh
correct
yeah.
term, but
I guess
but
pretty much like if you don't use it, you lose it, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. So I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact wording, but that's how what I got out of it. So
Yeah.
that being said, I was talking to a colleague, so happens to be into the medical field, and I told him what was going on, and he said, "Well, the problem is you need to be motivated, you need to do stuff that you enjoy doing." So, both me and him were into weapons and stuff like that, and
Okay.
so we started talking about, or he brought up saying, "Well, why don't you just get into airsoft? I mean, that you
Oh
can
yeah.
control your playing style, you can control how often you're using the foot." So, I thought I was
Was
joking
he
at
into
first.
airsoft?
Actually, he was not.
Oh, he
He
just
brought it
watched it,
up.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
so anyway, which leaves to a funny thing I'll tell you later. But so he suggested it. I thought he was joking, but he was pretty serious about it. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. So I ended up going out, and on the first game, by myself. I'm nearly 40 years old, right? So everyone there is half my age at least, right?
yeah.
There's a few individuals that are near my age, but a majority were half my age. They're obviously a lot more quicker. And the only thing I had going for me was my reflexes. So my reflexes are far more superior, but their speed is better. I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, so on the first time I went out there, I was on the fence if I should come back, and then my wife encouraged me to go back the second time. And then when I went back the second time, that's when I met some actual friends and ended up teaming up, and that's where it went from there. And
Yeah.
now I'm hooked, and now I'm doing it hardcore. So it just kind of
Oh,
that's how I got into it essentially. So it's
yeah.
because of the foot at the core of it. That's what got me
Uh,
to get into the sport and start utilizing in
yeah, just some
exercise.
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I injured my back like I'd already been playing airsoft for a little while. I injured it. I want to say I think it was 2023. It was like December of 2023. I hurt my back. I had a ruptured disc, and then it like irritated my sciatic nerve, and it was sending pain all the way down my leg. That was really what hurt was the sciatic pain. My back wasn't really hurting, even though I had a ruptured disc. It was just my like from my lower back all the way to my hip and all the way down to my toes. Like it was just excruciating pain. Like couldn't lay down, couldn't stand up. It was terrible. But I ended up having to go. I was down for probably 3 months or something, just walking stiff legged. I couldn't hardly bend my leg, but had to go physical therapy, and eventually it finally got better, luckily, and I didn't have to go through any surgery to get the that part taken off of my ruptured disc where it was hitting the nerve. But because that's what they thought was going to end up happening because it was hurting so bad. But luckily, it got better.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that you're still able to play airsoft.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. And now I can't tell anything's wrong now. Like I'm perfectly fine now. And I don't even know how I injured it. Like I was off work for Christmas break, and I think it was Christmas Day. I noticed I was starting to get a little bit of pain, kind of my lower back and hip. I thought I just slept funny, and then next day it was a little worse. And then the day after that, I couldn't even hardly I couldn't sleep. Like it was awful. But luckily I'm better now.
happy to hear that, and,
Oh
and
yeah.
also happy to hear it didn't knock you out of the sport.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So how's your foot doing now since you've been back going? Has it ever let you down any, or is it still doing good?
It has significantly improved. So by me
Okay, good.
exercising and utilizing it, it's I wouldn't say a full recovery, but it's nearly there. I would have to say about maybe 99%.
Oh, that's good. That's
Um,
good.
yeah. The only reason why I say that is because I guess it depends on the field that you're at, but in my particular field, I play a map usually called the prison. So it's like
Yeah,
a hybrid between close combat and distance, right?
yeah.
So
I
I
think I've
like
seen
switch.
your video of some of your plays there, like some of your games
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, it's a good feel, and especially that map. I mean, it has a mixture of the both. I
Yeah.
just wish they had a little bit of wood area, but they
Oh
don't.
yeah. Yeah.
So we can't really use a ghillie suit. But I
Yeah.
mean, the prison. I mean, compared to other fields, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And so I like the switch between close combat and distance. So in particular instances when I'm in close combat, I usually rush sometimes. And when
Hmm.
I rush, especially this one incident that happened, was that I was rushing about to flank. And then I realized at the last second, I heard someone on the other side of that corner. So I thought to myself, okay, I need to stop. So it's an instant reaction. You try to stop, right? But on one of my foot, the injured foot, it's about a second delay. So
Oh
imagining
no.
you're stopping and your primary foot that's not injured stops immediately, but your injured foot is slightly delayed. So it's like a
So kind
fraction
of
of a
like
second.
you're like stumbling
So
a little bit.
I stumble, and then because of that, I lose the balance, and then I end up falling forward. And
Oh
then
yeah.
and when I do that, in this particular instance, I slid across. The guy was there. Of course, I'm in a lower position now because I fell forward, and
Yeah.
sticking my rifle up. He's sticking his rifle down. I immediately fired the very first thing I could hit. He fired the very first thing he could hit, and because of we were super close to each other. I ended up shooting his sensitive area by accident,
Oh
and
yeah.
then he ended up shooting right here in the neck, if I remember correctly, and
Oh yeah.
literally point blank. And
Yeah.
so, we I mean, I'm laughing about it now, but at the time it was like, okay, sorry. And and
Yeah.
then we both started laughing, and then the guys behind him were all pointing their rifles right at me. And they're
Oh
one of
yeah.
them's asking,
Just waiting to
is
see
he?
what happens, I guess.
Yeah, they're just saying. One of them said, "Is he hit?"
You got to make
So,
it clear because they're all about to light you up point blank.
because they didn't know, because we were both
Yeah.
just laughing,
Kind of
and we
laughing
both
about it. Yeah.
yeah, so they didn't know what to do, and
Yeah.
so he helped me up, and of course I apologized to him. He said, "Don't worry about it." And I have the whole thing on film, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't posted that, but it's like, should I post it or not? I don't know, but it's like one of those things that happens,
Yeah.
and that was one incident that happened with my foot. I had another incident where very similar, where I was rushing on the side of the prison. I saw a guy there on the front door, and of course, I try to stop, and same thing happened. There was a fraction of of delay on that foot, and then right
Yeah.
when I try to stop on that fraction of the delay, then suddenly my foot, it felt like it just failed.
Oh
Any type
yeah.
of pressure I put on it, it just hurt like crazy. So I immediately, same thing. I immediately dropped down to the ground. Of course, the guy didn't know that I was injured, and he said,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're both hit, and it's a trade." And he just walks away, and here I am, can't breathe, and here I am
Just
trying to wave him
still laying
back.
there. Yeah.
So, so I got on comms and I try to signal out, real world, and one of my colleagues on my team immediately knows I was down. So he immediately helped me and he asked me if it was my foot. And I said, yeah, I can't get up. I can't move it. And so he dragged me out of the field. So I also have
Oh
that on video as well. But the foot, it's really weird because, it wasn't the ankle, and it's strictly that portion of the foot. So
yeah.
the portion, of course, it's hard to describe, but we'll just say this is the foot, right? So the injured part, well, if I'm flipping it right here, would be right about there,
Oh yeah.
right before
Yeah.
your knuckle line on the foot
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
So it's on the front end of the foot. So you can't apply any pressure on it or anything. So, the staff came by and said if I heard popping, and I said, well, I don't think I would be hearing popping. I know what you're talking about because it's on the ankle potentially, but
Yeah.
I didn't hear that because the injury is on the front end, and this
Yeah.
is where I had surgery at. So, they just made sure I was doing okay, and then they gave me water. I mean, I mean, I really respect the staff for helping me out that day
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making sure I was okay, and even asked if we need to call an ambulance. I said, no, I'll be fine. Just give me about maybe 20 minutes. I'll try the foot again and go from there. And it did got better. It took about maybe
Yeah.
a full, maybe an hour or so before I can put pressure on the foot again. And then after that, I think it was a full 48 hours, a little bit after
Okay.
that maybe,
Well,
before I
so it
could
wasn't too bad
regularly
of a
use the foot.
recovery.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's, that's been happening. But for the most part, the foot's fine. It's just one
yeah.
of those rare occurrences that happens.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's part of it, and that'll probably just get better with time, I imagine.
yeah,
The more you
potentially.
use it, maybe
Yeah.
if you don't
Because the
injure it
time,
again.
yeah, because it's funny you mentioned that because the timing with these two instances were far apart. I think they were like the first time was like in the beginning of the year, 2024. The second time was, I think, at the end of 2024. So,
Oh,
twice in 1 year.
yeah.
So it's not
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just need to be careful not to overdo the foot because I think that's part of my problem is that I think everything's fine. And I keep pushing, pushing, pushing. And then
Yeah.
suddenly the foot's like, nope, not having it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just it says enough is enough.
There was
So,
a guy at, we was talking about Thunderdome, the mall event. There was a guy we were playing. I can't remember if it was Friday night or Saturday night. It was one of the night games, and this guy went and dove over. He dove over like a bar. I guess it was maybe it was where they sold food. I think is what it was, and like he jumped over the counter and he landed on something, and pretty much I think he broke his ankle when he because there was
oh,
all kind of stuff piled up behind the bar, and he just ran and dove over it, and it landed wrong, broke his ankle. He was right behind me. I didn't get it on video. He was right behind me, like I was kind of like out in the open behind some cover, and the bar was kind of behind me, but. Everybody started yelling, and everybody didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know where he was at, but he was like 10 foot from me. He was behind the bar, laid down. I couldn't see him, but they stopped the game for probably 20 minutes or something like that. And they finally got him out and somebody took him to the hospital.
any cuts?
Uh, I don't think he had any cuts, but I've seen some people get cut. I've cut myself at Doomsday. I was out walking in the woods and there was some old barbed wire from a fence that had been taken down previously. And I guess had been buried in the ground, but I guess over the time people were running over it and it kind of came back up to the surface. And I'm just trucking through the woods and I feel something caught on my pants and I thought it was a briar. So I just tried to pull harder, trying to pull through it and it didn't budge. And it was barbed wire. It cut me on the leg. It wasn't bad, but uh, I've seen, say, quite a few injuries as far as people getting shot in the face or, something like that. I've seen a guy's tooth get shot out. Uh,
Yeah, and that's common. I think in our field
yeah.
it happens once every few months. It
Oh,
actually
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
I, I
It's very
always,
unfortunate.
I always wear something that's covering my mouth because I'm not going to take the chance.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Matter of fact, on my very first game, I had a customized mesh that covers just your teeth
Yeah.
and of course a full fabric around the face. But
Yeah.
anyway, on the first game, literally within the first 10 minutes, I got shot right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Is you glad you had
But
it?
I'm glad I had it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, imagine this first day out in the hobby and you immediately
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
so,
Oh, yeah.
but luckily
If you'd have lost a tooth, you'd have probably quit right
I
there.
would have quit right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, I did my research. I make sure I was properly geared before I went
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because
Oh, yeah.
it certainly saved my tooth that day. But
Yeah. And I can understand people that they don't like their face covered. I don't like my face covered either. I would prefer it to be open, because it, makes your glasses fog more if it's covered. But I just, I'd rather deal with a little bit more heat and deal with some of my glasses fogging than I would deal with a missing tooth.
oh yeah, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
To each his own. Because me, I just can't stand those full mesh.
Yeah.
You call them lower masks. I just can't
Yeah.
stand it. So because when I tried to look through the scope, that kind of hits
Oh, yeah.
your flexibility. I don't know if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be literally to where I don't have that problem. So I ended up doing something a little bit more custom. See if I can show it to you in 1 second. Great. So what I did was bought one of these.
Okay.
You can get
It's
this
like
from Walmart.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Of course, don't worry, people don't actually see this. I actually put fabric
Yeah.
on top of
You've
it.
covered it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I took one of these. It's, of course, I don't know if
It's
you
like
can
a
tell,
thick
but
foam.
it's
Yeah.
thick, right?
Yeah.
So, but from within, I uh I cut out some mesh and I
Okay.
also
Yeah.
put the borderline here. so this doesn't
Oh
hit my
yeah,
skin.
yeah,
And then it's what do you call it? It's fabric in. So now when I put it on, it aligns perfectly where my teeth is at, and it gives me the flexibility that I need. So,
yeah, yeah. I got you.
and then this goes
That's
on top, and then you can't see it.
yeah. I'd kind of made myself something too because I was wearing the mesh mask like you were talking about, and what I couldn't stand mainly was when it would go the straps going over my ears. Like the end of the day, my ears would be killing me. So I wanted something that didn't have straps. So I got me like a balaclava that was very well ventilated, and then I took a mesh mask and kind of cut it down. So I just stick the mesh mask, the wire mesh, down inside it now, so I don't have nothing over, like no straps over my ears. I've just got the balaclava holding it on.
Yeah. And you made it work for you for your specific situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and I think that's most people do that. They'll start out playing, seeing what other people use for a little bit, and then they'll figure out it's not comfortable for them, so they'll kind of tweak it for their own sake. Or I would recommend people doing that anyway if they haven't done that, because if you're not comfortable, then you're not going to have as much fun. You're not going to be as accurate when you're shooting or anything, you know.
Oh yeah. And especially well, depending on your playing style as well,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
So in my particular case, I'm curious how my setup would work in a more human environment because where I'm at in Colorado, I think my current position, I'm about 6,000 feet up. So the humidity up here is almost non-existent. It's kind of like
Oh
desert
yeah,
type of climate. And
yeah,
even though it's not really a desert, but it's really dry,
yeah,
just like that.
yeah.
So if I'm in a more humid area, would that soak up my fabric? I,
Oh yeah.
that'd be
It would
something I have to try
probably,
out.
yeah, you would probably, with it being that thick mesh or something, you may have to get something that's like a little more ventilated because it's like playing down here. It's very humid. Like, like this morning, I walked out at 8 o'clock and I was instantly sweating. The air was so thick. It's so humid. Like it's like that all summer long here. It's awful. But of course it could be worse. Could be like Florida, you know, it's even worse. But we're not too much further up from Florida.
Yeah, especially with a hurricane.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I
But
can imagine, well, I don't think people would do that though. Playing airsoft when there's a hurricane winds, you wouldn't be able
I
to
don't
hit
know.
anybody.
There's some people that don't care, but I'm sure the fields wouldn't open up for it. But there might be some people out there trying it anyway. It'd be hard to hit anybody.
Yeah, where they have to point their M4 or whatever it is and in a
Yeah,
completely different direction, fire, and
yeah,
then the BB just curves around and just eventually
yeah.
hits you.
Like
Be
watching
kind of slick
that movie Wanted, I think it was, where they curved the bullets.
during the bullets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny to see.
Oh yeah. Which I've had to curve my BBs before if there's for bad wind or something, and I'm shooting somebody way long range, you know, and I have to aim way right, or if somebody's behind a tree, and you know, hop up's always the BB's gonna go up, but if you turn your gun sideways, the BB's gonna go whichever way, you know, it's gonna go to the right if you've got it angled right. So if there's somebody slightly behind a tree, I'll kind of angle my gun a little bit right so I can try to hit them. Sometimes
Oh,
it works,
nice.
but
Well, as long as you can get it on video,
yeah,
it
yeah,
matters.
yeah, yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah,
talking about videos, I'd like to show your YouTube channel if that's okay.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Let me share my screen here. Give me a second. Um, Out of curiosity, the music that you use and also the audio effects, is all that free copyrighted?
The music is from YouTube. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like the YouTube studio, you know.
Oh, excellent. Good deal.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
what
So it's
about
all free stuff.
what about
Except
oh, go
there was a
ahead.
clip. I was gonna say there's a small portion of that last video I did where I had Forrest Gump narrating it, and there was music playing in that would probably get copyright strike. But
Okay.
I put it in there anyway because it was in the background of the Forrest Gump clip. I couldn't really remove it. I just played it just while he was talking, but there is music in the background of that small part. But
All right. So
all
what
the
I'll
rest of the
do
stuff is fine.
Excellent. What I'll do is because I want to show that video because that was a pretty good one.
Yeah,
I'll play the first 20 seconds of it because I
yeah,
do remember hearing music with that. But
yeah,
then as soon as it switches over to your actual gameplay, I'll just mute it and we could just talk about your gameplay. So
yeah, yeah.
hopefully
That's good.
I don't get sting with copyright.
Yeah.
All right. So let's share the screen here.
I don't ever try to use any copyright stuff, but the Forrest Gump clip was too good not to put in. Like I said, I didn't use that whole song, but I just used him talking, but it was too good not to put in.
No, it was pretty good. So um, just so the audience knows, the video that we're talking about is this one right here. And this is over at Airsoft Nick. Feel free to check him out. And feel free to check out this video outside the podcast so you can actually hear what we're referencing. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty good effects that Nick did here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly play it. Just let me know if you can confirm you can hear the audio.
Yeah, we can hear it.
You can hear it just fine?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So let me start it back here. All right, cool.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's the second time you got me in the ribs.
You fucking smoked my ass.
Fuck you, but you're damn good at what you do.
Thank you.
Hey guys, today we're at Stormbreaker 2, hosted by Bushwookie Airsoft. This event was on a large 100-acre AO, with each team fighting for unique objectives. Fighting technicals, drones, and more. The drone footage courtesy of the Corn Dog. I'll leave a link to his YouTube below. Bushwookie Airsoft is a veteran-owned company that hosts some really great events. They have two events coming up. One is Operation Battle Ridge 2, coming up July 13th. It's a day scrimmage game with unique mission sets each round. The other event is Atomic Sail, coming up September 19th through the 21st. It's a post-apocalyptic event with lootable guns, unique quest rewards, and anything you need can be purchased with in-game currency. A fully immersive role-play event. If you're interested, check out bushwookieairsoft.com. Don't forget to use code NICK BWA at checkout. Now let's get into the video.
All right, I have it on mute, but the video's still
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, you was talking about the corn dog earlier. That was his drone footage. He was at that event with me.
Oh, okay. So that brief footage of the drone facing
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, that was all his footage.
I think he said, I think I'm hit. I think
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah,
said.
I think I hit him like in the back of the plate carrier in the backpack or something. And yeah, he's like, I think I'm hit. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. And then right about here is where it started raining. And it came a monsoon. Like it was I was actually worried for my cameras because my scope camera is not waterproof at all. And then my both of my GoPros, they can be waterproof, but they didn't have a waterproof cover on them because I was using a like an external battery pack. So I was afraid to get they stayed recording, but I was afraid that it was going to get damaged.
It turned out okay. I mean, it
Oh
looks like
yeah,
you were able to utilize it.
yeah, yeah.
But man, I'm jealous. I mean, you're in the woods there and wow.
That's my favorite. Usually is playing in the woods. That's the way I like to play. I like I said earlier, a sniper in the woods. That's top tier for me. That's what I like.
Do you happen to know where you got hit from this angle?
Those yeah, the guy that I had just shot down the hill, I got him. He was trying to revive his teammate, and I shot him. And then I didn't know he had uh, friendlies for him right behind him. And then he ended up getting shot. He was like directly behind the guy that I shot. He shot me. And then I got revived, and these guys didn't know that I had been revived, and they were walking straight up to me. But I was verifying here that they were on tan team because with it raining so much, it was hard to tell like a woodland camo from multicam because it was so dark.
Yeah. And they just didn't know. They walked up to her and he
Yeah, they
just
didn't
knocked them
know, and
all
I
out.
kept asking him, I was like, are you tan?" And then he's like, "What?" And then I shot him. And then that guy in the back, I shot him in the plate carrier, and I kind of like spoke up, and because he shot me, but I shot him in the plate carrier. It was kind of like a trade deal there, and I brought it up to him, and he said he didn't get hit, but then my teammate was right to my left and shot the guy right in the face.
Nice. What type
And
of
right
scope cam
here,
do you use?
that's a Fox Seer Legend 4K. It's got the 35 millimeter lens in it.
Oh, Fox here. Do they still produce those?
Uh, I'm not sure because the last time I looked, they were sold out everywhere. I'm not real sure if they still make them. I know you can still get parts for them because I had the lens on mine actually got shot out while I was at Thunderdome. So I bought a new lens for it. It was just not the actual camera lens itself. It's kind of like a protective lens that goes over the end of it. It's
Yeah.
like a glass, kind of like on the GoPros. You've got that lens that you can replace that goes over the actual camera lens. It's kind of like that. But you can still buy parts, but I'm not sure if you can buy the whole cameras unless they're just working on restocking them. But last time I looked, they weren't in stock anywhere.
Okay, because I was looking for those and I could never find those anywhere.
Yeah,
That was like months ago.
yeah. I've had mine for several years now. I don't know. Maybe they're working on a new one, but I know RunCam has came out with some new models since I bought this one. I haven't used them personally. This is the only one I've had, and it's been good to me. And right here, I had snuck up behind these guys and were shooting them in the back, and they never could find me. But you can't really see it in the video, but I had cut some of it out. I sat there for a while. I would kill one, and then they'd be searching around. They're like, "There's a sniper in the woods," but they couldn't ever see me. And then they were more would push up, and they'd get shot in the back again. But I held it down for a while until that technical came up.
Oh, very
We got
nice.
the technical being the side by side there. We got most people at the if you go to Mill Sims or any kind of large event, they call vehicles technicals. I'm not really sure where the name came from. I don't know if it's a military term. I'm not former military, but that's what everybody calls them, technicals. That right there, I had shot the dude right in the ear. All I could see was his head sticking up. I had seen him like crawl over, and I was waiting for him to pop up. And as soon as he popped up, I hit him, and it was right in the ear. But that
And
was
you didn't
all
have
I could
any
see was his
protection.
head. No, he had nothing covering his face or his ear or anything. And the BB was actually stuck in his ear, and he had one of the refs come over and they actually popped it out of his ear, and he gave it back
Oh,
to me. You can see it there. Kind of blooded him up pretty good. He was a good sport about it though. He wasn't upset about it or nothing. He's like, all you can see is my head.
I'm
That's all you can shoot.
glad to hear that he's a good sport out of it.
Oh yeah, and that's
That's
one
good.
thing. Like this event here, everybody was really cool. Like anybody on the other team, I'd shoot them, and they were, like telling me, good job and all that stuff. There was nobody getting mad or anything. Nobody's that's what you want, when you go to an event. You don't like people getting upset over nothing. Right there, that guy was actually being a sniper. I've got an MED, so I shouldn't have even shot that guy, but I kind of panicked. He came around the edge of the woods there because I was looking at the guys across the road, and then he popped up right in front of me, and I just turned and shot without even aiming down sights and actually hit him. He shot me at the same time, but I just got lucky, like a no scope hit him.
Nice.
But he didn't care either. He was like, "Oh, I've been shot worse than that." And he's like, because I hit him in the leg, so he was like, "It was a good shot." He didn't care. And all these guys here, enemies, they were all telling me how good of a job I was doing because I kept shooting them. Like I said, they were all really cool. And this was that Bush Wookie event. she's like, I'm like kind of partnered with them. So like a brand ambassador. That's what I am for 'em. So
Nice.
because I had went to their event last year, the first event they had. It was Stormbreaker 1, and they after that they said they wanted to kind of work with me some, and so I liked their event and they liked my stuff, so we're kind of helping each other.
Oh, very nice. And that's what's cool about this is that the more you go out there, the more contacts, the more friendships
Oh,
you
for
have.
sure.
It just
Yeah,
expands from there. And before you know it, you'll be meeting up with people from out of state, and it's just gonna it takes its own takes shape on its own. And that's what I noticed when as soon as I got into this hobby, and especially when I started doing podcasts, I started noticing that I was no longer just communicating and having friends from within one state anymore. It's now being expressed out on throughout the
yeah.
entire United States. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I like about it too, and that makes you keep going back and playing more. Like the more people you meet and getting to travel around, like it's just cool having knowing people like wherever you're going to go, you usually know somebody. All these events that I go to, there's always familiar faces at all of them. I see people that, hey, you were at the last event I was at, so I'll start talking to them.
On this next video, this also caught my interest because this is the mall
Yeah,
we were talking about earlier. This is over
yeah,
at Thunderdome. Um,
yeah,
is the copyright on this pretty okay?
yeah. You're good on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Just confirm if you can hear the audio here real quick.
yeah. I got it.
Yep. Okay. Sweet.
Hey guys, today we're at Thunderdome 6 at Northgate Mall in Durham, North Carolina. We're running alongside Sean.
That was that guy that ran up and kind of threw the BBs. That was Sergeant Major Green. I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube. I think he's got a different YouTube name now, but he likes to go out there and he plays a character, I guess you could say, and he just likes to mess around with people and just has fun, pretty much.
Well, that's cool. I'm sure that creates a lot of good content on
Oh
his
yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
channel.
yeah. Some people like taking it too serious, but he's just messing around.
old barrels as they can and store them in their stash. Hope you guys enjoy the video.
Yeah, this event was a like the whole thing was fighting over oil reserves, and there was barrels there were the oil reserves. And you had to pretty much find them in random places and take them back to your area, I guess.
And whoever has the most for their team wins.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. And they kind of tallied it up. There was a couple of different like objectives you had to conquer, like a flag, I guess you could say. But all of that counted towards your score at the end.
Yeah, I was fucking blind.
This was in the basement of the mall right here. That's why it's pitch black. Of course, it's at night too, but it's in the basement, so there's no windows or anything.
I'm just trying to find somebody, bro. That shit's so confusing.
I know.
And it like being there on Friday night, not knowing the layout of the mall because that's the first time we're playing at it, and it's at night, so it was a little bit confusing. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the event was playing at night and pushing outdoors because they let us use the parking garage too for this event. This was the first time that they allowed the area to expand out to the parking garage.
Out of curiosity, do any of those cars get hit?
Yeah, those cars were all cars that they had arranged to be there. If you look, they've all got writing on them because they came from an auction or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it didn't matter if they got damaged. They were all okay to be there. They had arranged for them to be there ahead of time. Because this portion of the mall was closed to the public. It's been closed down for a while, but they put the cars out there for effect, which is really good because it added some more cover.
Staircase.
Makes for a more immersive experience.
Immersive
too,
gameplay,
having the cars
yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Let's go. With you. With you.
Yeah, that was a good angle.
Oh yeah. I had took one out upstairs and I thought I was good to move, so I started pushing up, but there was another one right behind him. Yeah, they had this plastic up
Poking
for
a
cover,
hole.
and I was poking a hole in it so I could see.
Yeah.
And I will say too, one thing about the mall events is if you ever go to an all indoor like this, you're gonna want some ear pro. I didn't have ear pro, and I'm gonna have it before I go to another one
I
because
can
of
imagine.
all the grenades. Yeah, it's rough once you're you're in a store that's really small and then it's empty, so it echoes. All the grenades going off.
Full fucking shit.
And the guy shot him in the arm a couple times, and he still chunked the nade out.
Oh,
Yeah. There's. Well, I was talking about it got shot out. My flashlight actually got shot out at this event too, like within 5 minutes of each other. The flashlight still works. I didn't even replace it, and I just keep using it until it quits. Luckily, I was able to, even though it got shot out, I was kind of able to salvage some of the footage, and I kind of edited a lot of it in post to make it so I could actually see something.
nice.
That's the thing there too. Everybody has bright flashlights, so they try to blind you so you can't see them.
Yeah, I noticed in
Shoot towards
another
the light.
YouTube
That's all you do.
videos. Yeah, I noticed that. It's a tactic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Nothing I could do. I just stood there and waited for it to happen.
is that a second one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it ain't nothing to have 5 grenades thrown on you at once. Like they're going to make sure. Luckily, he was there on the other side of the room to come revive me. That's Sean, by the way, my friend that I play with. Yeah, as soon as we come out, they're telling us they're pushing out that door. And Sean got shot.
All right, come on. Pick him up and drag him. Pick him up and drag him.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Got him. Got one.
I'm just blindly shooting in there now because you can't see anything. Yeah, and here's where somebody threw a grenade and it hit the sprinkler.
If you're interested in going to events,
And so it was just, but the water was just gushing. It actually happened twice, and they had to stop the game there. It was unfortunate,
It's the second part.
but luckily they cleaned it up and let us keep playing.
Large scale
Oh, that's good.
AO with objective-based games.
Was that a MIDI?
3-day
I
event.
saw-
Yeah.
I thought I saw
Yeah,
MIDI
it
there.
was.
Second
It was.
part of a
Yeah, there's
It offers large scale.
several of the the mercenaries. They're a group that they do a lot of Juggernaut stuff. So that guy has one of those from when he plays Juggernaut, but he was using it that day just regular on the field. If you've ever heard of Noob Day at ACS, I think it's in Kentucky. It's a large event that the ACS does. I haven't been to it, but if you ever look at any gameplay from it, you'll see the mercenaries. They do all the Juggernaut stuff there for that event.
Nice. And that's the thing of especially the woods, because the woods, especially the mall, those are completely environments I haven't really had much exposure with, and that's something I want to get into.
Oh yeah, it's
It's
for
so
sure if you
cool.
get the opportunity to travel to do any of it, it's worth it. Because once you play at a large event, going back to a local field isn't as fun. That's just to me, that's how it was. Like I still go to a local field every now and then, but the large events are just really fun.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. I mean, hands down. I mean, that's man, definitely need to check those locations and those Milsons for sure.
100-acre AO with objective-based games involving technicals, drones, and more. Get your tickets at
This was actually talking about
Use
that
code Nick.
game that I just went to from Stormbreaker 2. That's what I was advertising there.
If you miss out on a discount, just mention my name.
That was this footage was from Stormbreaker 1. That was last year.
Oof, bright light.
Oh yeah.
I got him.
At least it doesn't look like, I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like you're doing that to them with the bright light.
No, I usually don't even turn mine on a lot, which I probably should, but I just I don't ever do it. I'm always afraid to give away my position. I'm always trying to hide, you know.
What the fuck?
That was Sergeant Major Green right there. He had ran up and ran in there, was messing with those guys, like talking to them through the glass. I was using my night vision some on Friday night, but I mostly had it lifted up because they had a lot of the lights on inside the mall still, so it kind of really wasn't really needed. So Saturday night, I didn't even use my night vision.
Hey, run and slide, and we'll shoot cover.
Fast as fuck, boy. Fast as fuck, boy. Come get some.
Oh, give it.
Yeah, I opted not to even use the scope camera this day because I was once I realized that it was busted, I didn't even know it was busted until late Saturday night. Once I realized it, I decided not to use it because I was afraid the camera would get damaged even more if it got shot again.
And then it'd be unrecoverable,
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah, because at this point it was just a cheap lens on the end, so it wasn't that big a deal. But I didn't want to mess it up even more. So we had been kind of pinned up in one spot for a while, and we all decided to push at once because we knew they couldn't take us all.
Look at all those BBs on the ground.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, too, like when you're crouching down like this right here, there's tons of BBs on the ground, so you're killing your knees the whole time. I'm gonna wear some knee pads the next time when I go to an indoor thing.
Good day.
Whoa.
Yeah. People were chunking nades on him. I will say, some event like this, you'll go through a ton of ammo. So it's carry as many mags as you can.
How many mags were you carrying on this particular game
Uh,
event?
I think I had 7. I believe that's what I had.
Oh, he slipped.
Oh yeah, and that's easy to do here because there's, like you were saying earlier, there's so many BBs on the ground and that tile floor, it's easy to slip. Even carrying 7, I had a speed loader on me, and when I would go back to respawn, I would just load up more.
Reload. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys here were just chilling in the hallway, and one of them was getting revived, and I started shooting them, and then they just kind of like stood there. I didn't really know what was going on. They just walked off.
Agree.
So then my team pushed from the other side, and they were cornered in this room at this point.
No way out.
No. And I was out of grenades at this point, but there's used ones everywhere, so I just picked up a used one on the ground just to throw it in there and scare them so it would distract them. Because when they sing nade and they all start trying to run, and then start shooting them.
Good, we're good. I didn't even have a grenade. I just found one on the ground, tossed it because I knew they'd run.
That's a good tactic. I'm gonna write that note down.
Yeah. And they told me too when I walked in, he said, that grenade didn't go off. I was like, yeah, I know it.
Right?
This was the end of it here. This was all we had accumulated. We made a mad dash at the end, and we got a ton of barrels. But unfortunately, they had got so many on Saturday, it wasn't enough, and they barely beat us. It was a fun event, though.
It certainly looks like it. I mean, I'm certainly jealous. It's the one I
That and
definitely
that
want to attend to.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure about it indoor. I wasn't sure how I would like it because I like sniping so much and being out in the woods. But it was a very unique experience and it was really fun. And that's why I'd like to go to another mall event. Hopefully, I can go to the one later in July, that near tackle event.
Oh, nice. Out of curiosity, did you see one of my videos on my first mil sim?
Your first meal sim, I've watched some of your videos. I can't remember if I've seen the first. How long ago would that have been?
I think about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ish.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I may have seen it. You can pull it up if you want to.
yeah, it's the first time I've been. Of course, maybe you call it a baby mil sim.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not a
like
full blown one,
it's like a
but
local thing, but kind of more large scale, I guess you'd say.
yeah, and of course, I've never been to one before,
Yeah,
and it's a good thing I did the baby one because
yeah.
I learned and I found out what this orange thing that this guy is waving means.
Oh, yeah,
It took me a second to process. I was like, why is he doing that? And then anyway, you'll see. It's pretty
yeah.
hilarious. But it's my first one, so give me a little bit of leniency on that. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Oh, here we go. All right. So let's share the screen. All right, let me know when you can see it.
Yep, I got it.
All right. So I posted 2 videos so far. So this one right here is my first heal,
Okay.
Operation Freedom,
Yeah.
over at a field in Colorado called Dynamic. It's pretty good in Milsim. It's a local event. But anyway, I'll show it to you. But basically, I learned how to heal a player for the first time. It's
Yeah.
pretty hilarious.
So how did they do it there? Did they they have tourniquets? Is that how they did
Yep.
it?
Yep. They
Okay.
had turkeys. Yeah. And he was just waving it at me, and he was saying medic, and it took me. Anyway, I'll just show it to you.
Okay.
That's pretty hilarious.
Is this field pretty big?
That one in particular, Dynamic, it's all right. It's decent. They mostly use it for paintball, and if my
Okay, yeah.
memory serves me correctly, they only do airsoft, I think, once a month in this particular
Okay.
location.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, it's certainly different than what I'm used to because I usually play the prison, as I mentioned before, on another site.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a different variant. So he's calling a medic right here.
Yeah.
And he starts waving this.
I
He's
like
looking at me.
the HUD that you put on the videos.
Oh, thanks. That took a little bit of time. It wasn't something that I did overnight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and of course, on another video, I did a co-op play with another player. So how I did this on the far left with that icon, that actually is my icon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then when you flip to the other player, it goes to his icon. So I was even able to
Okay, yeah.
edit that way as well.
Yeah. I like it
So,
though.
thank you. And of course, I plan to do some further changes, but I mean, for the moment, it has that game feel to it,
Yeah.
and hopefully, it continues to evolve.
That's what I like too. That's why a lot of like when I get kills, I do like the Call of Duty kill sound stuff because that's why I got into airsoft was playing video games pretty much. So
Yeah, and I know that relates to some of my audience because when they see this and like you said, they're used to playing or done video gaming, they
yeah,
can relate to this better, right?
yeah,
So this
yeah,
is yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of a cool feel to it. So as you can see, he's waving that thing right now.
Oh yeah, trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
I like the helicopter sound.
Well, if you like it, wait until maybe it might be in my next release. I don't know, maybe the one after that. I'm gonna expand upon that a little bit.
Okay.
I'll
And
just
I've
leave it
heard
at
it too
that.
in the other video you did. It was the radio chatter.
Oh, the
Yeah,
yeah, the radio
you had a
chatter.
helicopter like in the background of that too, didn't you?
Yeah, he certainly did.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
added a certain touch to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, we have John people here. He can call them out.
Yeah, I point to him. He's like, yeah.
Thank you.
Copy that. Just make sure that you just have a hard time picking up here. Back up. Where is this location? Where are we gonna go?
They've got plenty of cover out there. Oh, hold on a second. I turned that off.
Is everything good now?
Sorry, I meant to turn that off earlier, but I'm out in my shop, so that was my air compressor kicking on.
No problem.
Hey! You're in the Alamo! You're now dead! Ah!
Oh,
So yeah, I mean that's the gist of the video is me
yeah,
learning how to heal for the very first time, and after the game, a fireball, that's his call sign right here.
yeah,
Me and him had a chat, and he was laughing about it. He was like, "Dude, I've been doing that to you for a while, and you were just looking at me." And I was like thinking, when are you gonna heal me?
yeah,
And then and then he was totally understandable. He laughed about it. He says, "Yeah, it's okay, man. You were just learning." So
yeah.
I certainly didn't make the same mistake twice because
Hey, well, I mean, that's part of it. The only way to learn is to get out there and do it. So, I mean,
oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah, for sure. So that was the video that I was referring to, and of course you saw the radio chatter or the
yeah,
airsoft radio gameplay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I like
another one
those.
good one.
Yeah.
And, of course, I've
That
done a lot of shorts. Oh, go ahead.
you talk about the prison map that you play at. Is it
Yeah.
how many people usually play on that? It's more like a CQB field, right?
The prison, not so much. They don't classify as CQP. It's
Okay.
like I mentioned before, it's kind of a hybrid. It's
Okay.
close combat, but also distance as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah, and I'm trying to remember if this video will show the full context of it or not. Um, yeah, I'll play it because it may show it.
Yeah.
So this is the close combat aspect of it.
I do like the building setup they've got there.
All right, so I'll stop it. So if you look out in the field, it actually goes out in a distance, and we have several
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like to go into the prison because, like CQB, it's close combat. They like that type
Yeah.
of feel.
Yeah.
But you can actually go out to these other covers and even buildings, and you can also play out there as well. And you can use a combination of both the prison and the field, and you can easily flank and potentially get behind enemy lines. So,
I would probably like a field like because that's the way I like playing is being able to flank around like that, like you're talking about.
oh, absolutely, yeah. And I've done that a few times. I even have a video of just on that subject alone, where I went around the enemy. And actually, let me play that one. Here it is. I'm not sure if you've seen it. So, of course, this one's a little long, so I'll try to get to the good part here. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is at the a good flanking part
Yeah.
right here. So he gets knocked out. So of course I pop my head out just to see what's there.
Yeah.
Moving forward is a no-go.
So that position's heavily covered because even though I only popped it for a second, I saw two individuals. I saw one on the outside of the prison shooting in through the door, and there was another one that was down the hallway underneath the stairwell. So I saw movement down there simultaneously. So I thought, okay, I can't go through that hallway. So instead, I'll just go around and just pray that they're not protecting their flank. And in this particular case, they were not. So I actually went behind their enemy lines and
Yeah.
actually went
Now
behind.
try to flank the enemy from a different direction.
Because I figured they would have it covered. This is the borderline between our teams right here in this courtyard.
Yeah.
So now I'm behind enemy lines.
I'm
And they
now
don't have it
behind
protected.
enemy lines.
And now I'm going behind. And got him.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
So of course, you know, I was rushing. I wasn't really checking my sides or my flanks. So as soon as I did that, someone saw me, and as soon as I turned around, I got nailed.
Oh yeah.
Bam. So that was pretty hilarious.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I scared them too because they were like, "Is in our team?"
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's always the scariest when you run into somebody you don't know is there and you don't immediately know which team they're on.
Yeah.
Flanking maneuver achieved. I was able to sneak through and attack behind enemy lines. Sadly, I got killed in the process.
Triple barricade. Left side against the green wall. He's close.
So I'll try to show it. Yep, right there. So what's happening here is that we have a guy on a flanking position shooting down to my teammates, and we can't move. We can't move forward. We can't flank. So I need to take him out. And some of the things I usually do is that since he's on a very high priority position, or I should say flanking position, I sometimes sacrifice myself just so I can eliminate the target. So therefore my teammates can move up.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, it worked. So you'll see here in a second how that played out.
Speaking. Center. I see it. Yeah, he's still in there.
In this situation, we have an enemy player in a good flanking position. Currently, he's preventing my teammates from moving forward. I'm going to wait for my teammate to provide suppressive fire, then I'll move up to his flank side, take him out.
Is that you from last time? Yeah, last time, man. Me and you, buddy. Me and you.
So me and him exchanged quite often during that gameplay.
Yeah.
But the objective was achieved because now he's out, and now there's nothing
sacrificed
holding my
himself.
teammates up, and they're now
Yeah.
all moving
Target has
forward.
been eliminated.
Yeah. So it's worth getting taken out for because you got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
So
it's
what gun do you primarily use there?
It is a lengthy name. Give me 1 second because I want to make sure I'm accurate on this. It is an Elite Force VFC VR16 Avalon Saber Combined Generation 2.
Okay.
A lengthy name.
Yeah. So it does pretty good for you.
When I first got it, it was okay. But
Okay, so you've upgraded
because
it some, I guess.
yeah, I did, and I work in aerospace, so I like to tinker with things.
Oh, I
And
got you.
so I took it apart, and of course I figured out what the spring was when it
Oh,
popped
yeah.
out right at me. I figured out what that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like to tinker with things and see how they work, and then that's been identified, then I try to upgrade it. So it has the Titan on there, it has change out the piston and the motor. But I'm not a true tech though. I just like to tinker with it. So if it takes too much time, I just say, I'll just let a true technician work on it. But if it's
Yeah, yeah,
something quick, like a minor thing, like a piston or whatnot, I usually just
yeah,
swap it out. So
yeah,
that's the type of stuff that am interested in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've I can take apart AEGs and put it back together, but I've never fully upgraded an AEG. I've only done minor stuff, like I've added MOSFETs and changed triggers, stuff like that. But I've done a lot of I've got more experience with HPA. That's mainly what I've done, and
Yeah, and
or with
HVAs are pretty cool. They give the
yeah,
more realistic sound of a
yeah,
gunshot.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about HVAs is you have
Hook
that
to a
cable.
line. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the one downside to it. And like I've got two sniper rifles. The other one I have, it's HPA'd, but I got to where I was like, I wanted one of the SRSs. That's what I've been using here lately. And when I bought it, I'm like, I'm not HPA in this. I'm leaving it spring because I don't want to be attached to a line. And honestly, the thing is, it's really good anyway, like it is. There's no point in trying to HPA it. Like it's, but uh, like my SMG, it's HPA, or well, one of my SMGs. I've got two of them, but one of them is still AEG. But the my SMG, I love that thing. Like I don't regret HPA in it at all. Like because you get such a fast fire rate out of it, and that's what I like about it.
Oh yeah. And that's what's so cool about this hobby is the modifications or
Oh
things you
yeah,
can do with it, right? So,
yeah,
oh yeah, especially with mine, I adjusted the speed trigger on mine, so
yeah,
mine's really
yeah,
sensitive. Of course,
yeah.
you're gonna find this pretty funny, but when I first got the gun, my finger got tired with the
Oh,
stock.
from having to pull it, yeah,
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not dealing with this. So,
yeah. So you put a
I
speed
got
trigger on it, yeah.
yeah, so now the only thing I have to do is just tap it. And
Oh yeah,
of course, I don't feather it. It's just for me, it's just easier. Of course, I use it like a real firearm. I have my correct
yeah,
fingering position, but
yeah,
but it's just ever since I made that modification, now my finger never gets tired anymore.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's but I
Oh,
have to be very
they're
careful with
nice
it as
for
well.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because I definitely don't want to have somebody assume that I'm intentionally overfiring or anything like that.
yeah. You doing not doing any of the like speed soft stuff where they'll kind of just take their hand off the gun and just
And like I'm just
hitting them
tapping
on the
like
trigger.
this.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. A
I
lot of
I, I
fields
definitely
frown
do that.
upon that.
Yeah, I think they reference it as feathering. I think that's what they
Yeah,
what they call it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I don't do that. That's not my thing. I just did it because maybe I'm just getting old, but
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah,
just more easier.
yeah.
It just had a little bit more sensitive.
Well, it's
So
much easier, especially if you're playing any kind of close range something. It's easier to just have a feather trigger, so you quick reactions pretty much.
yeah, yeah, it worked out with me on that on the playing style. So no complaints with it. I think any future airsoft gun that I get, it's going to have similar modifications because again, I
Yeah,
don't want to get tired.
yeah.
And
And that's like what we was talking about earlier, how you kind of change your kit or your loadout or something to make you more comfortable.
yeah, with the fabric up here, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And of course, that didn't happen overnight. It's just trial and error and see how it works
yeah,
out. And
yeah,
that as long as it still works.
yeah.
So yeah, and um, but one thing you always have to keep in mind is that at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun and as long
That's
as
right.
what you're doing is within the line, then yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, well, excellent. Well, it was awesome having you on and major
Oh yeah. Thank
privilege
you.
and I always wanted to meet you. So because I've
Oh
been
yeah.
watching your content for a while. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Same.
coming on.
Likewise.
Yeah, and guys, if you want, check out Airsoft Nick over his YouTube channel. He has really good content and and feel free to subscribe and uh, and continue enjoying this hobby. And
That's
we'll
right.
just, yeah, big thumbs up, and if that's the case, you have a good night, and hopefully, if it's okay with you, we could schedule something else to where you can come back on in the future as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like that.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks again, Airsoft Nick, for coming on, and you have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.